Hi Heaven Ho, this is LIS and today I'll be doing an episode of my very own series called You Need to See This, in which I showcase and promote games that are severely underrated but are fun to play. In this YNTST episode, the game to be featured is Transformice Adventures. Transformice Adventures is an action-oriented multiplayer RPG developed and published by Atelier 801, which are a small team of indie devs best known for their original classic free-to-play title known as Transformice, which is a crossbreed of platforming and path-making. Platforming in a way that you are a parkour mouse that can climb walls and jump over pads to get the cheese and bring it home. Path-making in a way that you are a shaman that has powers that create objects that helps other mice get the cheese and of course bring it home. In Transformice Adventures, you can consider this as a sequel to the original in a way that it is the updated and different version of the franchise, and not always in a way that it is a new and improved style of the same platforming path-making formula. As in this game, you play as a cute mouse already prepared for combat with a sword and healing bandages. In your first playthrough through the demo, you will meet a wounded hedgehog.
Jesus Christ!
This introduces you to companions, which are NPCs that can help you in fighting against enemies. Heal it using your bandages and it will now be your first pet. The next part of the tutorial will now be the combat and gameplay. This introduces you to how the action in this AMRPG works. To sum it up and remove the usual padded, overly detailed babbling that I usually give in these types of commentary, spam. Wait for stamina. Spam. Rinse and repeat. Literally, there is no other mechanics in the gameplay, to be honest, let alone the standard ones that every action game has, like dodge button, block function, parry if needed. No, none of them are here yet. I emphasize yet, as of course this game is still in further development, and I'm not saying that to dodge criticism. I am saying that to not only not overcrunch the devs, but also have them notice the important things in making a complete game in terms of standard gameplay. So far, the only way to avoid the attacks is to move away, and that mainly applies to telegraphed attacks. So far, the normal attacks are sometimes inevitable and even unblockable, because there is no block function. Really? What's with some modern action games nowadays and not having block function? It's like playing as a Roomba with a knife taped on it. I clearly am feet away from him and I still get hit. This feels more tab-targety than it is action in my opinion. Apparently running to the heavens is less or not at all tiring compared to swinging your sword and shooting your bow and arrow at least 4 times. Great logic, am I right? There are the classic RPG mechanics we all know and love, which is, to be fair, really fleshed out. Shops, trading systems, classes, skills, and of course gear is all here in this game. Lore and story? To be honest, non-existent as of this game's current state. There are dialogues from NPCs but are all just relevant to their respective roles in the world, and not directly to what the world will be about. There is a cash shop and microtransactions, which as usual is good and needed for a free game. Nothing pay to win in it, as it is all just cosmetics. Progression in this game is dungeons. Yep, so far the game is not fully open world. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. In progressing and finishing each dungeons with its respective segments, you get buffs that help you proceed further, as well as experience needed in obtaining further active and passive skills that makes your character stronger, and of course gear as well. So far, that is all there is in the game's demo. The full version is set to release later this year despite its Kickstarter fiasco, so the show must go on. In my overall impressions and review, this game is still fun to play despite all the issues I brought up. No, seriously, remove stamina, it makes the gameplay look awkward in my opinion. I hope the game succeeds and addresses all the shortcomings from not only just me, but also others who think there are other things needed to improve on. All in all, the game is really well fleshed out. The foundation is there and it feels really fun and immersive. All it needs is the rest of the other parts to complete its build, like more story and grind content, PvP if it can bode well, and endgame. Anyways, this is my YNTST episode and game impressions for Transformice Adventures. If you like what you see, please leave a like. Enjoy the high heaven hunters by subscribing. See you later and stay up!